Hello, hello. Dr. Elise Lasco, acupuncturist here. Welcome to Pregnancy Series Part 5. We're in the second trimester, finally. And here we are, bumping 26 weeks. So I'm down here at the very end of the second trimester, finally feeling a lot better. It is now fall here in San Diego, as fall as it gets. Cooler weather, sweater weather. Thank goodness. All my pregnant friends understand that the heat of the summer has been rough, and I wasn't even as pregnant as some during the heat of summer. So welcome everyone. Thanks for watching. For all those that have been following along, I promised that this video would be a little happier than some of my other ones, talking about morning sickness and all the emotional aspects of the first trimester, just the challenges of pregnancy. So second trimester is traditionally where most feel better. You have most of your energy towards the middle to the end of the second trimester. You start to see the bump, you start to feel the kicks, it gets a lot more exciting, and you start to realize that you actually have a human inside of you instead of just feeling ill laying on your couch wondering if there actually is anything going on in there. So it gets a lot better. I will say I've had a slightly different experience. I didn't just hit the second trimester and feel immediately better. It took probably about 15 weeks or so. I started, my perpetual nausea went away. I still got sick up until last week, 25 weeks, and who knows if I'll still continue to get sick. As a lot of you know, I've had really bad sensitivity to smell, so that's what has made me continue to get sick for the most part. I think some of it has turned into anxiety as well. So the anxiety and the anticipation of the smell had me continuing to get sick for a while. I will share, the smells are getting better. It's been the smell of my entire house. And yes, we've tried everything. We've cleaned filters, we've done essential oils, we've burned incense, Palo Santo, all the things. So I appreciate, as much as I appreciate people's suggestions, we have really done everything. And now with the cooler weather and airing out the house, it's starting to get a bit better. But I think I'm just, like I said, particularly sensitive. So that's just a little update there. And I know some people just experience this. It's just a hypersensitivity. I am a naturally more sensitive person. As I mentioned, I'm a 5-element acupuncturist, and part of our diagnosis is using odor. And so I have that sense already really developed. So I think it just kind of amplified in pregnancy. So I'm using it to the best of my ability. It has helped me a lot with diagnosing my patients. So that has been really helpful, and also difficult smelling people. So we're doing our best. So I wanted to focus today on the second trimester, the bursts of joy, the more, having more energy, just feeling like you can do more. I think that's what most second trimester mamas report, or future mamas, or however you want to say it, pregnant people. And second trimester is when nutrition becomes a lot more important, because your baby is officially kind of in that full development phase, really growing. In the first trimester, they are developing their organs, but now everything starts to grow more exponentially and everything kind of builds on that. So nutrition becomes really key. And for me, I really haven't had a huge appetite. I haven't had a lot of cravings, so it was hard for me transitioning into the second trimester still. Like, I thought, okay, I'll be able to eat whatever I want. I'm gonna feel really good. And like I said, it took to like 20 weeks to really feel okay. And actually my appetite has been a lot better. I have been cooking more. I could not cook for weeks and weeks. I am cooking now. Now that the weather has cooled down, soups and stews and chilies have been really good. And I will actually share, I've started reading Birthing from Within, if anybody has read that. really great book, and the author shares a really helpful really simple dietary plan on just what to eat in the dairy category, what to eat in the protein category, grains, sugar, vitamin C, and it's a really nice guide for anybody that may be struggling with trying to get the balance in. I know everybody's cravings are different, and some of us only want to eat sweets, or we only want to eat meat, and it can be hard to make ourselves eat balanced in pregnancy. So even just looking at that guide, and I can share a photo of it with this video, was helpful for me to see. And a lot of times, if anybody here tracks on the What to Expect app, it's really funny because the things that you crave usually are the things that you need for that particular week of pregnancy. I think it was around maybe 18 or 19 weeks. I was really craving, because it was still kind of summer. I was craving like all the orange things, like cantaloupe was my vibe for quite a few weeks, carrots. I saw something about like mangoes and papaya, and I was like, I just want all these fruits like mixed in. And that week it was like beta carotene is what you need for your baby. So it's just kind of funny. So I really invite you to listen to your body, because usually whatever you're craving is what you need. And that isn't even just in pregnancy. That could be in life in general. And usually, as long as you're relatively in balance, what you crave is what you need. Now, if you're craving like processed food, chips and candy and a lot of sugar, maybe there's an imbalance there. But again, sometimes in pregnancy you just got to eat what you can, and you do your very best. But in general, the balance becomes more important in the second trimester, and just really eating, all the groups, having protein, getting a good amount of protein a day. I think they say 80 to 100 grams, which can be tough. For me, my partner started adding collagen into things for me. I've been craving oatmeal a lot, which is really funny because since we've been together, every time I would crave oatmeal, he would make it for me, even this is outside of pregnancy, and I would eat like 2 bites and be like, I don't want to eat oatmeal. But for whatever reason, when my mom was here, she made oatmeal with stewed pears, and it has tasted so good with cinnamon and a little bit of brown sugar. So that's been great. And he's been adding in collagen into it for me, so I get a little extra protein, because that is something, I did mention this before, protein first thing in the morning is really key. Even now, past the first trimester, nausea, but I'm a little grossed out by eggs. I've been eating them here and there. Scrambled eggs are hard. A lot of people say no sunny side eggs, but that's really been the only way I can really make myself eat them. I lived in Latin America for a long time, and eggs and beans for breakfast is really common. So I've made myself some homemade black beans, which has tasted really good. It makes me more able to eat eggs, and putting a little like sour cream on the beans, having tortillas, having some fresh cheese with it, like feta. And I know that's another thing, like unpasteurized cheese is kind of a no-no. I mean, I think everything in moderation is okay, but they do make pasteurized feta for those that are, wanting to be more cautious. So yeah, I've just had to kind of slowly get myself into like eating more things and just going with what I was craving. A couple weeks ago, I was really wanting avocado. Interestingly, I started experiencing the leg cramps at night, which is pretty common in the second trimester. And that's usually like a calcium, magnesium, or potassium deficiency, and started craving avocados. That has potassium. And I did actually start upping my calcium and magnesium. So have some good shares just to talk in general about supplements. I know a lot of times it's really hard to take the prenatal in the first trimester. It becomes most key in second trimester, again, around that nutrition, that developing baby, and folate is particularly important for the development of the baby and preventing spina bifida, which is, the development of the spine in your baby. So I share a little bit about the supplements I've been taking So I've been taking the Seeking Health Prenatal Essential. So some may know this, some may not. A lot of us have the MTHFR gene, which means it can make it difficult to process folate for our babies. And without folate, our babies can have spina bifida or birth defects. So it is a really important key ingredient to have in your prenatal. So Seeking Health makes a methylated folate, so if you are positive for that gene, it makes it easier to break down the folate and process it in your body so that your baby gets the folate that it needs. I was never tested for that gene, so I don't actually know. I have seen some things that maybe I don't actually need the methylated folate, but I trust my body. I trust this company. I've been feeling good on this prenatal, so this is what I've been taking, and I ordered a bunch of it to save on shipping, so that's what I'm taking for now. And I may switch at some point. So I've been taking the prenatal essential. It's only 2 capsules a day, so that's another thing I like about it. There is an optimal one by Seeking Health, but it requires, I believe, 6 to 8, but it has choline in it, and so because I could not do like 6 to 8 capsules a day, I decided to just get the needed prenatal choline plus. So choline is really good for the neural tube development baby, their brain development, their cognitive development, and it's also good for mamas, for your metabolism and your mood during pregnancy, and carries you through birth. Eggs also have choline in them, but you kind of have to eat a lot of them to get enough. So I added this in, and again, the prenatal by Seeking Health, that is the optimum, I believe, has choline in it already, but like I said, I couldn't really take 8 capsules, so this is what I've been doing, and it's been great. Needed also has a prenatal. At the time when I was looking to order a bunch of prenatals at once, they were out of stock, but also really great, and I believe the basic prenatal by Needed has choline in it as well. So if you're looking for like a one thing to take, that's a good one to look into as well. And then, as I mentioned, I added in more calcium and magnesium as I started getting leg cramps at night, and that has helped a lot to take it internally. I also use a magnesium lotion by L.Ac Organic that smells really lovely. I've actually been using it since before pregnancy just because it's a really nice bedtime ritual, helps with sleep, and that's helped as well, putting that on my legs at night. And then finally, I have started taking a probiotic. This is by Umzu. This is a vaginal health one. I felt like I was starting to get imbalance pH down there, kind of more feeling like yeast infections coming on. So I added this in just this week to help balance out my pH. And you can also get probiotics if you like sauerkraut or kombucha, or other fermented foods that or yogurt has great probiotics as well, and it has the protein. So those are all really good things to add in. Yeah, and just overall, I feel so much better than I did. I've been exercising more. I've been getting out for my walks almost every morning. I started doing jazzercise, which my mom encouraged me when she was here. My mom taught jazzercise when we lived in Ohio for many years. She did it all throughout her pregnancy with me and my brother. And so she dragged me to a class and encouraged me to sign up for membership. And it actually is really great. I've been a dancer my whole life, so it's been good to move and dance, although it does feel weird to have your baby bouncing on your bladder. But I just modify and I do what I can. So it feels good to be getting out more, moving more, seeing people more than the first trimester for sure, doing more fun things, and just starting to get excited about the baby, feeling his movements. It's been a little more like flutters and spasmy, but just last night I started to feel him kicking in my rib spaces, so that's been kind of fun. But I think a lot of us get excited about feeling the baby in the second trimester, and you're still, relatively comfortable, not overly big, so it's a little more joyful because of that. Yeah, just overall, I've been getting ready for thinking about birth. We start our birthing class this week, and we have a couple other childbirth education classes coming up and newborn care. So that'll be a little bit more on the third trimester update. We're interviewing doulas in preparation for our birth and planning for our baby shower and starting to get things from our registry, getting our baby room ready. I put off some things because I was taking my final my national licensing exam, and my little office at our house is going to be our baby room. So I still had it kind of in study mode, and now I officially get to be done with study mode and moving into baby mode and focused on my business and my clients for the rest of the year. And I'm starting to have more and more pregnant patients come to me, kind of funny, similar weeks as me. And so just to let everyone know, like, acupuncture is a wonderful modality for pregnancy, wherever you're at, whether you're first trimester, second or third, or even if you're postpartum. We can really make a huge difference the earlier we see you, helping your body prepare to give birth, helping your body to have a better postpartum. I'm very well trained in pregnancy, and even more now that I'm experiencing it myself. So if you're struggling through, or even if you're just, wanting tips on how to prepare for postpartum, or you want, more information on a doula, or, just things that you think you might need, I myself can host you, talk with you, here, talk through some of the options for hospital births or wherever you're planning to give birth. It's really amazing to have this extra support, and it brings me a lot of joy to get to talk with other pregnant women on where they're at in their journey and kind of what they're cultivating for their birth and what they're cultivating for their postpartum time. So come check me out. If you have questions about acupuncture, feel free to comment in this video or shoot me a DM. Happy to serve you, here with you, and wishing you a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you.